Ah, Source Hunter. Have you come to lend your blood to our cause? How much simpler all this would be if only it was so. Still, I cannot blame you for struggling against me. What reason have you to trust me that your efforts are misplaced? But now, with Brachus Rex nearly risen, there's little more you can do to hinder me. Perhaps for the better. When we first met on the beaches of Sicile, I underestimated you. That blunder has cost me dearly. Still, after all, you need not know more than this. The end is coming. The end of sorrow. The end of pain. Those who oppose me oppose peace itself. And here I thought you'd seen it yourself. Tell me, what is the imp historian doing, if not begging you to divert the void? So, you're familiar after all. You know as well as I that the void is coming. In fact, if I'm very precise, it's already here. But you need not be afraid. The void is ourselves. We are destined to rejoin it. I have chosen a dark and dangerous path, but I vow that those sacrificed have not suffered in vain. My only wish for all of Rivellon is the soft hush of silence. Brachus Rex was the forefather of our cause, the original Immaculate. His resurrection brings Rivellon one step closer to the ultimate solution: dissolution. Wouldn't you like to meet him? The sorcerer your order was formed to destroy. I'm certain he'd love nothing more than to meet you. Follow me. Find out.
Wow. Hello there. And who, pray tell, might you be? Oh, let's just say I keep the place in check. Tidy it up. I'm no one important, really. I've learned to appreciate anonymity. And forgive me if I prefer to distance myself from any possible mishaps you adventurers can cause. Quite unpleasant to get involved. Authorities knocking on your door in the middle of the night and so on. Forgive me if I generalise, but some of your lot are as crazy as they come. I once thought you a quaint sort, but over the years I've come to realise that about 1 in 10 is downright dangerous. Lock up behind bars, paint the key blue and toss it into the sea material. Now I can't help but wonder, are you cut from the same batty cloth? Why've you come here after all? What's the point of it all?
The mysterious stranger gives you a long look and, after what feels like a vast eternity, nods.
Kate?
Source Hunter? Ha. By the health of the Seven, you're here. There may yet be hope. Perhaps you remember me as a healer. But gods, what a herald of death I've become. I'm beyond redemption now. But you alone may save Sicile, may save all of Rivellon from the horror I've summoned. King Brachus Rex from the tales of old. He lives. The mad Source King, the Lord of Chaos. I have awakened him. I've done a terrible thing. I've raised a mad king from beyond the grave. I imagined so very foolishly that I'd be able to extract an ancient secret from him. But with a simple flash of his arcane magic, I was finished. I'll tell you all I know, Source Hunter. Resurrected, revived. The king lives, but not as the man he once was. He retains the mark of death upon him, like a festering wound. The last of the mad Source Kings he was. The tyrant who nearly condemned Rivellon to oblivion. He began the War of Wars, marching brother against friend, until every land and home burned with death. It was during this dark time that your order, the Source Hunters, was formed. Brachus was defeated, and Source outlawed from the land. Brachus was a dangerous monster, but he achieved things no man or mortal could have dreamt of. He alone is said to have known a great secret, how to break a forge of souls. I promised to extract this secret for a woman calling herself the Conduit. In exchange, she vowed to reveal to me a certain power of her own. In hindsight, I see that I dealt with the devil, and I've received my damnation. I was given a great stone, a bloodstone, but more charged with life than any I'd seen before. The Conduit said it would imbue Brachus with life enough to share the secret she craved. But what he has become, his powers have all returned, and I cannot stop him. My failures are so many, I can hide them no longer. In my pursuit of the Source King, I've called forth abominations that neither I nor any other can destroy. The ghoul that guards the lighthouse, the Baron of Bones, the twins by fire joined. Their ghastly faces haunt me, and they in turn have rifled through the graves and sarcophagi of Sicile in search of undead minions. Undead, Source Hunter, unkillable. I fear this plague may never end, no matter how many times the rotten dead are defeated. Curse her name, her hell-sent promises. She claims to be a link between her goddess and the world of men. I never believed her divine claims, but I could not deny her great power. It was she who showed me that Bloodstone could be used for more than healing. Her stones, particularly powerful and potent, could raise the dead. What could turn any soft soul towards wickedness? My weakness was love, and it was love that she promised me. The Conduit had shown me how to raise skeletons and zombies from their graves. But what I craved was something far more rare. A second life. A true second life for my wife Malia. She was a beautiful soul, snatched from the world of the living far before her time. Now the Conduit's promise seemed simple. A secret for a secret. I'd tell her how to break the soul forge, and she'd tell me how to bring Malia back. You can defeat the unholiness I've raised, Source Hunter. You can save the countless innocents that will perish under the Source King's mad fist. I pray... No, I believe you can reverse my failures.
Here now, one who comes to watch the spectacle, to see the sovereign of the Source ascend again. Or perhaps you are the first in a long new line, the first that will try to stop my dominion again. Oh, by the emerald eyes of the goddess, would you believe that I can still feel it ever so vaguely? The force of the stab that cleft my heart and sent my soul shivering into death. But my followers have done it. They have done it like I knew they would. Blood, the thick red gravy, the source of souls, has been yielded unto star-sent stones and has swept away the eternal shadows. How long has it been, I wonder, my first repose in death? An hour? The time it takes the seas to tear down cliffs. It is of no matter. I live, and I shall claim my throne anew. A fable I may have become as time dragged on, but a fact I am once more, little one. Don't you, don't all of you miss miserable mortals realize that they who are one with Source have thrown off the burdensome mantle of death forever. I embraced Source. I drank it, made it part of my blood and my being. And so a warlord became a sorcerer, and a sorcerer became a king. The fools of this world dubbed me a tyrant, but the gods convinced them I was such, fearful as they were of my rise and power. Armies amassed, too many. Scores I slew, too few. Death took me, too soon, but not for all time. Ha! Not a thing. There was a woman once that went by that name, until I mangled her body into that of a lich. Oh, my sister dearest, Cassandra and her man-cat. Mere pets of mine, the both of them, tools to bruise and break as I saw fit. They bled so very beautifully. The reason for my resurrection, O simplest of spirits, is that I was destined to be. Were it not for the vainglorious fools that raised me now, it would have been another, perhaps wiser being that would have done so in time. And time is of no matter, only to be eternally. A woman seeks my secret, for her soul is entwined with another's, yes. Where once they were inseparable, now they have grown apart in purpose and intent. But my secrets are mine to keep. Perhaps when she lies shivering before me, pledging alliance to her king, I will break her forge before I break her. A source hunter. So you are, though you are so much more, and do not even know it. No matter, they still smell like you do, by the by, your brother and sister hunters, as they closed in around me that first time. Fear. That most sly, most intangible of sense. Drowned out soon afterward by the acid stench of urine. I had but to look at them, and they rusted their chainmail where they stood. I undid so manifold they had to wade through the gore of the fallen. Oh, what a feast, what fountains of gravy we had. Alas, that there were too many, as there clearly are too many of you still. Although, life renewed has made me rather peckish, and from the looks of you, you need but the slightest of squeezes to make squirt the sauce's sauce from your soft, fleshy shell. Yes, look at you, plump as a leech bulging with freshly sucked blood. Oh, I do believe, as my servants would say as they brought in a squirming, plump girl on a plate, that dinner is served.
Aha! The Starstone Seekers return. Most fortuitous indeed, for I have been pondering over the nature of our shelter plane like a poet over his muse. For now, I will refrain from entertaining, or, as the case may be, annoying you with hapless conjectures, until in the maze that is my mind, I happen to stumble upon a clue more concrete than mere theory. In the meantime, and in the interest of saving time, please tell me your thoughts about the lady you talked to in the Hall of Heroes during your previous visit. Deceive. Desert. Your words, they ring a distant bell, but they are but pieces of the puzzle. And yet, could she be? But no, hold your chattering tongue, Zixat. You promised you wouldn't hazard any guesses, and you'll stick to your word. You have my thanks, friends, for indulging me. A new portal has opened, and no doubt you are as curious as I am to find out what lies beyond. Let's go and take a look.
Source Hunter, is it safe? Have you done it? Please tell me that you have sent Brachus Rex to the grave once and for all. Magnificent. Oh, truly wondrous. I feel like a prisoner set free, free to bask in the daylight once more. I was so fearful, petrified almost in the knowledge that I might see him again. You see, I knew the Mad King. In fact, I served him. I'm a wizard hunter, and that means I've seen many centuries pass me by. They weren't always happy ones, and you may take that as an understatement. I was once under Brachus's thrall, bound to him by perfidious magic. Life was an endless cycle of servitude, torture, and humiliation. Only after the first source hunters skewered him like the pig he was did my nightmare end. As you can imagine, I was afraid beyond all measure that the fiend would enslave us all once more. That I'd be cast back into the rank pit that was my past. But he hasn't, and he never will. Thank you. I will never forget this act of valor. You have foiled one of Leandra's vile designs, that much is certain. But I highly doubt you forestalled her endgame, whatever that may be. It is therefore imperative that we find her sister Ikara. As you've learned from the accursed duo that was Jake and Evelyn, the White Witch is somehow involved. I will vouch for her gentle nature, but alas, I cannot vouch for her current state of mind. Has she been corrupted by her sister, perhaps? Or have they become enemies locked in a murderous game of cat and mouse? There's no way of knowing until you find her. What I do know is that she lives in a cabin deep in Lacula Forest to the north. If anywhere, that is where I advise your travels should take you next. So you have heard of her? Yes, I knew Cassandra. She was a sweet girl when we met. Hardly a woman yet. The very opposite of her deranged brother, who did not hesitate to butcher her for his own benefit. We were fast friends in those days. Aye, more than friends. Until he took her down to the dungeons and she returned a woman no longer. A twisted lich had she become, with a twisted mind to match her grisly new shape. He remorselessly and relentlessly sought ways to cheat death. Cassandra and he were soul-forged, so he knew that if she would die, he would die. And so he turned her into a lich. Turned her into a creature neither living nor dead, so that he could break the soul forge without destroying himself in the process. Giving the matter no further thought, he rid his sister of her humanity, so as to rid himself of a spell that could threaten him. Such a man was Brachus Rex. Immortal in his mind and immortal to be in effect. As your swords and spells have demonstrated, though, to this world's everlasting contentment, his deranged fancy was not to be. I don't know. When the Source Hunters besieged Brachus's castle, I sought only to escape. I never heard of her again. Yes, I longed for freedom, for release. When I saw my chance, I ran and never looked back. Very well, Hunter. My gratitude is yours, as is my service.
Fangs of the Void, it is true. She told me she had seen you. Yet never would I have believed her delusions until Here, now. They manifest before me. You have become undeniable. The scurrilous sentinels themselves. It is miraculous, irrefutably so. But oh, how low you have fallen. Look at what you have become. What were stars have become moribund embers. You are to be pitied.
That's it. Brachus Rex is dead. The way he spoke about our forebears was horrific. I wonder how many Source Hunters had to die before the Source King was deposed.
Even if it was one, it was too many. My heart shrivels in my chest when I think of the lust in his voice as he recalled his crimes.
Every inch of this Source cult that we unravel is an inch of justice for those killed. Damn Brachus and all his breed. Damn them straight to hell.
It is strange, Source Hunter. I have heard many tales of Brachus Rex, the radiant ruler, and King Brachus, boon of our blighted land. How can it be that the stories sang him a hero when he was in fact an evil tyrant? But you cannot think that all the stories of old are fiction. What about Threes? What about Amira? And the cycles of the Elven bards? If they are false, if they are written by power, as you say, what good can they be? A wise man such as Jarrett would not have bothered with propaganda, as you say. He's a man of learning. No, I am certain you are wrong in this, Source Hunter.
The king is dead. Long live... well, not he. He came close though, Brachus Rex. Close to fulfilling his dream. Dormant he would lie until loyal followers that persisted through centuries would restore him to life afresh. As a ghoul, no more was he reborn, exactly the type of base necromancy I abhor. But now that he is dust at our feet, I can't help but feeling a morsel of pity. The work of ages, the desire beyond death we undid with a simple stroke of the sword. No beauty? Oh, how you are mistaken. Life, it is such a precious commodity. So precious indeed that death is dealt in droves to merely postpone it, to make it cross the boundaries set by nature. There is much simple irony to be found in these exploits, but at the heart of it lies an equally simple endeavor, which is to overcome the most primal of fears, the dread that prompts philosophy and religion both, and that is the fear of death. To overcome death, if it were possible, is to attain victory over the unconquerable. Such a victory, what a thing of beauty it would be. Still, all this talk about immortality hits the raw and ragged nerve of passing time with relentless momentum. Onward, onward. To be idle is to die.
Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? Those scallywags! They are diluting Starstone with blood magic? Vile fiends! This sect, it must be stopped. Their adulteration of Starstone could hamper our efforts to undo the void. You have to trace this sect back to the very pit where it burrows. Bloodstone. The horror. Magic as dark as this. It feeds the void where we seek to starve it. Most certainly. So you have the inner chamber. The tapestry has shown me that these were the personal quarters of the gods chosen two. They lived lives of opulent luxury, a well-deserved return for services rendered against the onslaught of demons and dark champions of the void. They are yours now, the chosen two anew.
How might I serve our mission? Threads I weave and tales I see, all will I tell. He is the instigator. He is the beginning of all ends, the birth father of death and void. Be wary of him. I know not what is fear, and yet, before him, I tremble. Can the answer be anything but you? The threads say that you slept there, you both did, until the vigil of day and vigil of night called you away. Duty. Never did you waver from your duty, never? I cannot be certain. Perhaps, just once, you failed.
My gods! What is going on here? First I have to shoo away a creeping white tomcat, and now there's a perfect stranger in my bathroom. Get out, will you? Little mix-up indeed. I don't know what you and that horrible little imp are planning, but leave my bathroom out of it.
Interesting devices, these pygmies among pyramids. They may be small of stature, but their potential is gigantic. Deceivingly clever. It is a trait all demonic machinations share. Yes, demonic. So very obvious to the trained eye. These apparatuses have been forged among the voids of the outer realms, where the light of stars does not reach. You do well to treat them with the utmost care. Perhaps it would even be for the best if you sling them into the reaches of infinity that surround the shelter plane. Better safe than sorry. It is an uncommonly trite thing to say, but it applies to all things demon-dreamt and devised.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a sausage.
How I pity you. You have a mouth, but do not taste. Eyes, but do not see. Ears, but do not hear. So let me state this clearly, Hunter, that you must always remember, always, that when demons are in play, you are the hunted, and that it takes stupendous cunning and strength to escape their snares. The very moment you are certain you have them in your grip, that is the moment their traps spring, and it is their grip that shatters your soul. Dueling with demons is like playing chess against an opponent with queens for pawns. They sit and grin while your pieces slip in the sweaty fear that drops from your beleaguered brow.
Divines doubly bless you, friend. This cannot be. Can it? You have found one of the sources of the undead and sent it back into oblivion. But that is fantastic. Never have I seen such heroism. Hope breaks through after 2 years of absolute darkness. Sicil remains under threat, yes, but finally it has been proven even the dead can be vanquished. To think, Theliron too was behind these horrors all along. A man who treated the wounds I obtained in battle, who comforted me when my agony was great. Such a pity. Sicil is in your debt, Hunter. I, and the Legion too. Brachus Rex is dead, and no one but you could have done this glorious deed.
Look here, even a sage and author as renowned as I is flattered when mortals dare among the dead to seek him out. Well, here I am, Nemeris the Wise. You may go wide-eyed with amazement now. As if I need introduction. Nemeris the thinker, the theorist, the visionary. Come now, surely you lack the time, as I do, for such silly questions. Oh, I've written so many celebrated treatises, but of course you have read and revered the philosophy of death, the diamond in the crown that is my literary legacy. There isn't a civilized soul alive that hasn't perused its profound pages percolating with perspicacity. Alas, that so few show an understanding of my words, so few show the expected intellectual growth when I put them to the test. You can, and indeed you must. But alas, I was not buried with a printed version of that blueprint of genius that is my inimitably esteemed essay. Never fear, though, for each and every library in Revellon boasts a copy, the gilded cherry on their paper pie. Do you truly feel you are ready to prove that you have read and understood the philosophy of death? Then we shall proceed to test the mettle of your acumen forthwith. Between life and death, death is the greater force. So argues the clergyman. Is he correct?
Of course not.
Correct, he is not.
Let us proceed. Life is life's own goal, the question that is itself the answer. Good! Now I am unburdened of all worries, am I not?
Not entirely, no.
I concur.
Last query. Boldly do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear. Death I dub thee life's equal. Is this my salvation or my undoing?
Your salvation.
Indeed.
Oh, most impressive. Nothing short of miraculous. You have verily fathomed the message of my book. My undying respect is yours, to an extent.
Is not love a wonderful thing, my friend? The greatest fortune of animals and humans alike? Oscar, you say? I haven't been called Oscar in ages. Boy, does that bring back memories. It's the name the ship's cook gave me when I was but a kitten. I remember him rewarding me with bacon every time I caught another rat. And I remember listening to a fellow called Ebenezer, who used to tell me the wildest stories. A strange bird, that one. Used to indulge in every pleasure of life like there was no tomorrow. Guess there was no tomorrow for him, come to think of it. He would talk everyone's ears off about the delights of fine dining, his fascination with new fashions, about the elation of lovemaking, and so on and so forth. To me, though, never suspecting his revelations would be stored in my mind, he'd whisper of the shadow sides of his indulgent character. Fine dining, yes, on human flesh even. New fashions, sure, even if they meant the annihilation of a species for its hides. Lovemaking, indeed. But sometimes the girls were very young and suffered delicate tortures. Some died in his special chambers, but would still be used. A strange bird, as I'm sure you'll agree. If he were a bit smaller, I might have caught him like I would a sparrow and rid the world of his hidden evils.
That's it, kiddo. Explore as much as you can while you've got that youthful vim and vigor about you. Life is a wonderful thing. How could you? Those are lies. It was the ultimate pleasure. Oh, how could I hang back if there were even rarer, even more exquisite elations to pursue? How can I let any morsel of satisfaction go untasted in this brief mortal coil? Surely now you understand why I could never submit myself to the judgment awaiting me at the gates of the Hall of Echoes. No. I prefer to remain here for an eternity with a few of my senses, a few of my more delectable memories, than risk being cast into hell.
There's something to it, isn't there?
If he stays here, his past will haunt him forever. At the Hall of Echoes, he may find a way to make up for his terrible deeds.
Agreed. Ebenezer will not enjoy the judgment he faces, but crimes of such horrors demand penance.
Is that so? Is that what you really believe, Source Hunter? Well, forget divine judgment. I say we judge each other here and now. The better of us stays, the worse be damned.
Ah, there you are. You were rather conspicuously absent during that last fight I was in.
Really? I didn't mean to leave you in the lurch like that. Next time, shout and I'll come running.
Oh, I didn't really run into any trouble. It's just that it's too bad you were missing all the fun.
There you both are. How jolly. There's something quite astounding you must see. It's the Weaver. Thanks to the Starstone you've collected, she's mended a portion of the tapestry. Look, a new story has been rewoven into time. A new portion of history appears to us for the first time in not even I know how long. Let us look together. Let us see what the Weaver has woven.
Long ago, two great generals led mankind in a terrible war. The dreaded Void Dragon threatened all of existence, and man and gods alike joined swords to stop it. The two generals were celebrated as the rulers of all, and even the gods paid them tribute.
I greet you, Honorable Master of the House. I am the Shepherd of Elements, and I control how they may flock towards your most imperial presence. So, if it pleases you, command me, and the elemental aspect of your choice shall once more settle among these holy halls. And that is your final choice?
Yes, it is.
Yes, indeed. That is our final choice.
Thy will be done.
By the hoary beard of Boreas, can it be? You've come home. It's about time, isn't it? Your quarters have been invaded by all manner of madness. Does my brilliant frost beguile you? I am ice, of course. A soldier of ice, to be explicit, and this is where I have dwelt across many eons. Here I wait for the day, if ever, I am called to serve the realm again. Could I be more explicit? This place is of your essence. Can't you feel it in your very bones, as I do in every crystal of frost within me? You belong here, and this place belongs to you. I cannot tell you why or how, but I know it to be true. Of course, alongside my opposite, the eternal fire, we were summoned in service of a goal greater than the timeless battle between heat and cold. Yes, together we sought victory against the void. You can thank our great army for all of this, you know. For existence itself. Those were times of great proportions. The forces of nothingness pitted against those of life, and naught but ourselves marching to the beat set by our great leaders could stop the void's encroachment.
Good to see you on the shelter plane. A home away from home, is it not? It shall be my pleasure. Familiar indeed. Exactly who these heroes might have been, or why Starstone is reviving their tale, I cannot say. But the resemblance of circumstances is quite striking, to say the least. Oh, do collect more stones, won't you? I'm all a jitter with excitement. Who could they have been? What does it mean? And why, dear Source Hunter, can you alone restore these threads to our memories? Most certainly. Got it in one. Wonderful place, isn't it? I find that a dollop of cold helps to concentrate when I'm writing my histories. Perhaps it will inspire you too. Much can be learned from elementals. Their forces are primal and ancient. Wield them, and you wield the very cause of nature.
How might I serve our mission? Threads I weave and tales I see. All will I tell. The son of Frost, how mighty he was, a giant that lived for war. He and the aspect of fire, what enemies they used to be. But you sealed their allegiance and their friendship so that together, you could overcome. Overcome the dark that was spreading. The rabbit gives you a forlorn look. It seems as if it wants to speak to you, but can't. The rabbit nods and points to the northeast. The cat that got its tongue must have wandered off in that direction.
With an intense look of anger on his face, Woolgraf writes something down and gives it to you.
Sorcery! Something took that animal's voice. Let us find it and kill it.
A few hand signals follow. A talking hand puppet, a wagging finger, and a cutting motion at the throat. Clearly, Woolgraf is in no mood to talk to the bunny's tormentor. He wants proper revenge.